It's Howie from the Howie and Beastmode podcast. Hope everybody is doing well, keeping warm as the winter is upon us. Lord knows you're stuck in the house with COVID, a lot of you, so you're probably keeping warm anyway. But I'm here with Beastmode, and he's actually got some tips for you that he'll flip to you now.
Yeah, so I just want to let everybody know there's an opportunity when failure happens, when a moment that you are not as successful as you wanted to invest that opportunity to reap a reward. Not every failure, not every mess up is meant to keep you down. It's more than often, it's meant to keep you going. So take that failure, use it as a motivation.
Welcome to the Howie and Beastmode podcast, where we discuss all things business, including growth, strategy, and execution, as well as personal and professional development. Let's join Howie and Beastmode in conversation.
Okay.
Awesome. Hi there.
Hi. Nice to finally meet you.
Good to meet you.
You guys are am I the only one in the meeting or?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well.
On purpose.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to start out by telling you I'm originally from Springfield, Illinois, and I moved about 10 years ago or 11 years ago to St. Louis, Missouri. And I started attending a church there called Twin Rivers. And in one of the life groups, they were doing the Dream to Destiny series. So I've probably been following Pastor Robert for 7 years now.
Yeah, that's a great series. That's probably the most transformative series I've ever had.
Oh yeah, it changed my life, most definitely.
Yeah, I love it.
So
Cool.
I had a really rocky time in St. Louis. I will tell you, I come from a really, really small family. And it's so small that 6 people represented 5 generations. And everybody's gone now except me and my son. So it's a kind of unique place to be in the world when you don't really have any family. So I came here to Dallas and I moved with a cousin of mine. I had gotten to know her maybe about 15 years ago, and she's from my father's side, and I wasn't raised up with him, but I did get to know her shortly before he passed away. And we were really, really close. We love to talk about the word and share the word, and most of our family on that side is pretty worldly, so we were really close, always together. So we always had this dream of getting a food business. So I've been cooking my whole life, and I've worked on different recipes. And right before I left Springfield, I actually almost got a contract to do the state fair there for my wings.
Wow.
But I literally didn't have enough people to pull it off. So I've always just kept with the ideas and kept going. And so now it brings me to this new idea I have now.
All right. Well, we're
And
excited to hear about it.
I've been seeking God, and he's just kind of pushing me further along. I came here, I had a cousin here, his name was Tommy, and he lived in Springfield at the same time I lived in Springfield. And I got to know Tommy around the same time I got to know my cousin Wanda. And he was, I would say, just not troubled, but he was just at odds, it seemed, with the world. He just, he was a very passionate person. He stood on principles, and he was just, really aggressive type of individual. And so he always worked in a restaurant. And so we used to always hang out together. And I used to talk about the Lord with him. And he would say, I don't know. I don't like all that God stuff, cousin. But I was like, well, just try him out. Just try him out, Tommy. And you just can't lose. So he had left. When I left to go to St. Louis, he came here. He moved back here to Dallas around his family. And so we talked on and off, but he had kind of gone through some rough seasons in his life. So I was really looking forward to reuniting with him. It just, no matter who he fell out with or anything, we always had a way, me and him, of coming together. We just never had that big fallout in the family like he did with most people. So I moved here on December 4th, and on December 10th, he was murdered.
No way.
Yes, he was murdered.
What
So
year was that?
unfortunately, that was this year. That was this past December.
Oh,
I
I'm
just
so
moved here.
sorry.
Thank you. So that was it was a tremendous blow to me, because never in my wildest dreams did I think my reuniting with him was going to be seeing him deceased under tarp. It was just unreal.
Wow,
Um,
I'm so sorry.
so it took me. I did have a lot of comfort, though, that he did give his life to the Lord under Pastor Tony Evans, and so
Wow.
I was very excited. I was happy then to be assured of where he was going. Even with having that happen to him. So I just kind of was reeling from what happened, but I didn't want to forget about why I came and the idea of why I came. Now, my cousin Wanda, tragedy struck there also when she moved here to Dallas. She moved with her at the time husband, and he shot her 9 times.
What?
Yes, yes. So she didn't die. Thank God she survived. He's in prison, but she is a totally altered woman. She's just not the same woman. She just isn't. She just isn't. And I've had to just give up on the dream of me and her even doing anything together. So I'm just right. I'm not willing to give up, though. I'm not willing to give up. So I was messing around in the kitchen, and I was thinking about Tommy, and I was just going through my day. And then I guess you could say I created a product. And this product is, you take a 6-ounce lobster tail, the flesh off the tail, you butterfly it, you put a blackened butter seasoning on it, you put spinach on the top, you put Gruyere cheese on the top, then you roll it up, you roll that in prosciutto, breadcrumbs, and then you fry it.
Wow.
So I cooked that, and it happened to be one of the best things I had ever, ever made. I was just astounded at it. It was just perfection. I mean, and it just fit into the mold of my idea. I wanted a food truck. I wanted an original product. I wanted a higher end quality to it. And it's just right there. So I've already got the name. I've already got the logo. And I already know the prices and the projections and things. And now I'm just needing guidance on the next steps.
Yep. So are you thinking like a food truck, or what are you thinking?
Yes, definitely a food truck.
Okay.
Because brick and mortar is so shaky now. I don't know if they're ever going to come back like they were before the pandemic, but I've always, wanted to do the food truck, and now I'm a little bit more, leaning to that after the pandemic.
Question for you. So lobsters are really a really expensive product. So is there a chance that you could do a very, very similar product with crawfish? And lower your food
I can
costs.
try it. Right. I could try it. The only thing is, it's not as big, and it won't do the roll. Like this almost looks like a big roll like that. And so that's what got me with you can take along and eat it and things
Yeah.
like that. So that just happened to be the product that I created, but I could try it.
I think
Sure,
it's
because
worth.
I thought of that with the food costs. And one thing I decided was I wouldn't do anything but that roll because of the food costs.
Well, yeah. So, and we want to ask you questions, and we want to listen to you more, but just a quick thought along the way is that, multiple, you could slice 2 or even 3 crawfish, into strips types, and then wrap it and then bread it. And so it would have essentially, you could still have the same volume as a lobster roll or as a lobster product. You know, and you could still do the lobster as well. You could have that as like the platinum edition, you know, or
True.
another version, a couple different versions of it. But that would probably cost, you know, $15.99 for one or something crazy,
Right.
you know, as far as to sell it and make a profit. Um, yeah, anyway, it's just a thought. But also you said something about that might be the only product. But I think people do want choices. I think you don't want to have too many. But do you have some other things that you like to make that people have complimented you on before?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been urged to do those wings everywhere I've gone. Those wings are huge. They're a huge deal. I used to just sell them from my home, and I could never just keep up with the orders.
So the reason why Jordan, aka Beast Mode, was laughing a minute ago is and pointing at me is because I have wings probably twice a week at this point. I'm kind of a maniac. I just had them tonight actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and the thing about wings is that wing restaurants don't go out of business, and so you're, you know, by having the wings are a known situation. People actually look on Yelp and they just Google wing, or they just search for, you know, wings.
Right.
You've got Wingstop. So the thing is, like, a wing restaurant is going to do probably well because it's already an audience versus the lobster roll idea, which is really cool. And I think it's a great one to experiment with as well. But there's not a known audience for that already that's searching for that. So it's
Right.
like maybe the wings is how you get them in the door, and then you share this delicious invention, um, which then, you know, is a great additional thing that they can be purchasing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is, though, the I don't know that I've seen a food truck with wings before, because wings take, you know, 12 minutes to cook or whatever it is. I'm making that up, but
Right.
11, 12 minutes to cook. So the problem is the food truck world, you don't really have that. You don't really, you know,
Right. You got to dish it out fast.
yeah, unless you just have a lot of wings that are ready to toss. You know,
Right.
someone is in the back constantly doing wings during busy times, dropping wings, dropping fries, dropping wings, dropping fries, and then you've got them ready to toss in the sauce. That might be a possibility. Um, but anyway, that's interesting.
Well,
So where are you at in the process?
I'm really just starting up. I'm just starting up. I've got to get it out there. I'm not from Dallas, so um, just logistics is even a challenge, you know, knowing people, getting it out there. So I'm really just starting. I'm just, you know, trying to find my way with it.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
Now, the only drawback that I thought too for the wings was that the competition is fierce already. You know, I was like, duh, you've got some people that are like, I just go here for wings and that's where I go. You know what I mean? And I wondered if breaking it is something that's so well established would be difficult.
Beast Mode, what do you got?
You know, I used to have a similar thought when it comes to business. Um, you know, it's almost like every idea has been tried in every variation. You know, but I remember somebody telling me a long time ago, and I wish I would have implemented it sooner. But Christ, He in our business is our key differentiator. That's what makes our business different. Even if there's 1,000 wing restaurants or mobile wing restaurants or whatever in your area, the fact that Christ is a part of your business, that's a key differentiator that other businesses don't have.
Right.
And if Christ brought you here to start a wing business or to get this lobster roll going or whatever, as long as he's a part of the business, that's the most important part.
That's true. That's true. So I'm trying to not move ahead, you know what I mean, of him and what I need to learn. So that's why I'm coming for guidance.
What I'm really, so I started a website a few years ago called To Honor Them, and you can go honor people that made a difference in your life. And I spent, you know, the vast majority of my retirement on that, and it failed. And what I wish I would have done, I spent $125,000 on that.
Oh,
Yeah, I broke our family over that. And what I wish I would have learned after spending 3 years on this, 3 years just to build it, and then I kept it alive for like probably 3 years. So probably 6 years and about 125K of my retirement. But what I should have done is I should have done a small example, and then if it worked, then I could do the full thing, right? And that's called the minimum viable product, the MVP. And when you're doing a startup, it's best to do a minimum viable product, and a low cost way of starting small. So I know one of the things that you can do on Yelp, the app Yelp. I know that there are a certain amount of people that are private chefs. There are a certain amount of people that are catering, and there's a certain amount of people that have delivery oriented food businesses. So I'm wondering if there's a way of you doing a couple of approaches. This is definitely hustle oriented, but you could
okay.
set up, maybe set up a website just so you have credibility, and then set up like a Yelp page. And whenever people search for wings, because again, they're not going to search for lobster because they don't know that product exists yet, right? So you have to start with something that they do know and they do search for. And I search for wings myself all the time on Yelp. But you could offer like a wings as a delivery, and you could set yourself up with DoorDash, and you could use that kind of a virtual approach to, as far as promoting yourself. You could go door to door, knocking on doors, and just hand out coupons. A coupon / flyer type situation would be one way to go, and that way it's free. Your effort is the only cost. Well, you have to have the flyer,
Right.
but I don't know about the ins and outs of all this. It's just a couple of ideas, but I'd like, first of all, a food truck. I mean, do you have the money for a food truck right now?
No, I do have some investors though that are interested.
Okay. Well, if you had some investors that were interested, that could be interesting. If you could get a food truck and get it outfitted the way you need it, and start from there. So that's actually interesting. Are you aware of where food trucks park?
Some of them, because I actually did an in-depth interview and almost worked with Dee's Soul Food Truck, and she's out there at the Dallas Cowboys. So I learned a lot by talking with her and seeing where they house everything, where they prep the food, where they park the trucks. So I do know one area, but it wasn't that big. I know to have nearly half the trucks in Dallas. So I'm sure there's a lot of different areas.
Cool.
But I'm also I also wonder about the red tape of where you can park. You see what I mean? Like where they will allow you to park, and do you have to get in business agreements? And I just wonder about that also.
Yeah, I would actually start smaller than that. Do you have the capabilities to, this time of year, there's a lot of holiday oriented, like there's pumpkin patches, and there's places that there's doing Christmas trees. So there's lots of events the cities are putting on, and they're inviting vendors to come for $100, something like that. You can set up a booth, and I'm wondering, do you have the capabilities to fix and to create your product on a small scale? I mean, you do?
Yes.
Okay.
I can
So
do
I
that.
mean, that's one avenue that I would do. And I mean, those are all over Facebook. You'll constantly see people posting saying need vendors for whatever event. It doesn't matter what the event is, they need vendors. And so, I mean, you can find some as low as $25 and some are going to be $500, and the point is I'm going to sell out. And so you take enough product to sell out. The goal is not to take any home with you. And so you're going to find out. So maybe the first one you show up to, you only bring enough materials to make 30 sandwiches on purpose. I want 30 sandwiches sold, and I want everybody wishing they had more. And then whenever I tell somebody where my next outing is, they're going to come just for my sandwich or my wings or whatever I'm making.
Very smart.
So that's one suggestion. My second suggestion would be even on Facebook and especially Instagram, Ryan can speak a little bit more about this in a second, but a lot of places that don't have standalone businesses are preparing food to order. So what they're telling is they have a Instagram page and they say, today we're making 20 lobster prosciutto Gruyere sandwiches.
Right.
And the first 20 get them. And then that's it. That's all you're making that day. And then you set up individual deliveries, or whether a business wants to buy all 20, it doesn't matter, right? The goal is I need people to buy my product. I need to test the market to see if people are willing to pay X amount of dollars. I need to figure all that out. That's part of what Brian was talking about with the MVP. And these are ways that you can do that without investing any money, and so those are kind of my 2 points off the bat.
Yes, that's a lot to think about. That's some good ideas and I had someone actually here that said, I could probably use your wings. And I think he has some kind of shop. And I guess it's something like you said, an event where they need vendors. It's some kind of village, he called it. I can't remember. But so that is an idea. I could do that. Very well. Okay. That gives me a lot to think of. And I was just, sometimes you get so excited, you're all over the place in your mind. And I was like, slow down.
And at the end of the day, what it gives you is it gives you numbers on the back end. So it enables you to go buy, enough items to make, let's just say 30 sandwiches, right? And then you're pricing it based upon how much you spent, right?
Right.
And then you take that product that's made, it's delicious, it's awesome, but if you take it out to the vendor and you set up your booth and, let's just say you price it at $15 and nobody wants to spend that, then now I understand I either have to buy my product somewhere else, I have to get a cheaper rate so I can lower my food cost, or $15 isn't an issue. Nobody cares. It sounds just right. And then you're getting the feedback to know, okay, I can make 30. Like, you need to know your limits, your capacity.
Right.
Can I make 30? If somebody asks for 50, can I do it? Or, because oftentimes, especially as an entrepreneur, anybody who wants to pay you, you want to say yes.
Yes.
Right. But the last thing you want to do is have somebody say, hey, can you make 50 sandwiches? You say yes, but your capacity is 30. Now you're 20 short, and there's no way you can meet the need. These are some things that you need to find out before. And even if you go to these vendor booths, and what it costs you is what you make back, it's all good seeds. It's all good beneficial information to know. Because then okay, I can't purchase a $500 vendor booth. I need to look for ones that are 150 or less so that I'm making money. Again, it's beneficial information. So
you just learn through the experience. Got it. Yeah, thank you. That's a lot of good things to think about.
You're muted, Howie.
There's one that I like as well. My wife and I looked into this years and years ago, but Canton First Monday,
Oh,
first
yes.
first Monday trade days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my wife and I thought about opening up a candle business years and years ago with my brother and sister-in-law, which are kind of some of our best friends. We ended up not doing it, but we had to do a lot of research about Canton First Monday through that process. And there's also one in Frisco or somewhere in Plano or something where it's like not first Monday, but it's like third Tuesday or something. I don't know. But it's the same
Okay.
company that hosts that, but there's 2 locations. But there might be a way of doing this on an occasional basis. And first Monday is like actually several days. It's not just Monday.
Right.
In fact, I think by Monday it's winding down actually. But I think looking into Beastmode's idea here, that could be a way to go because it feels like there's a built-in audience for that.
Right there. Already there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of every town, even like the smaller towns, have farmers markets every week
Right.
that meet every week, and they need vendors to come. And again, if you go to, if you're Canton's a great idea, but Canton's going to be more expensive than Grand Prairie Farmers Market, you
Right.
know. And so
Right.
again, you gotta weigh the benefit of it.
Right.
And again, I'm not sure what side of town you're on, so you got to factor in commute and all that good stuff.
Well,
But-
right now I'm in Grand Prairie, but I'm going to be moving to DeSoto soon. So I go to the Grand Prairie campus right down that the church just started. It's awesome.
Well, Grand Prairie has Traders Village. They're open 7 days a week, and they always need vendors.
Wow, Traders
That's
Village.
a great one.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
Now, they may not be the target market for lobster, prosciutto, Greer.
Right,
They may be the wings.
right.
And a side note, I love to cook, and I love the Food Network. I've seen a food truck on there before where they cook the wings in the oven, I guess, to a certain temperature. And
See,
then
that's how I cook mine. That's the problem.
And then they fry. Well, but then they fry them when they're there, so they cook like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're like halfway cooked or something like that. I don't know. Again, I'm not a chef. I saw it on TV.
Right. Yeah, they definitely got to be fresh. I would just have to taste it probably to see. But that is a good idea too.
I think I like that a lot as well. Traders Village is cool. I haven't been there in years, but that's a good one because it's so regular. But I do like the idea of starting small and not having a massive investment. But one of the benefits of starting small is that you don't have so much money going out that could be lost, but also you get to make mistakes on a smaller basis, and the mistakes don't kill you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because right now you don't know what you don't know. Right now you're basically a chef with talent and passion, but there's a lot of other business things that you have to learn. And so that'll be doing a smaller scale situation allows you to learn those things and then grow from there.
Okay.
I do wonder
All
about
right.
food permits. I think it's really worthwhile, even in a Trader's Village situation, to understand what sort of food permits are required in a portable kitchen situation, whether that be a actual food truck or whether it be a few tabletops that you set up at Trader's Village or First Monday Trade Days or whatever. I think understanding the health permits is important.
You're gonna have to have your food handlers.
Oh,
That's
yes.
for sure. So
Yeah, it's only like $8 and you do it online. Yeah. It's not
Wow,
bad.
okay. Okay, cool.
So I'll definitely, and I'll look into the food permits also, but this gives me a lot of ideas. A lot of ideas.
I was just gonna say the one thing that I would do is, again, there's a Brian and I we're doing our best to listen, but we just want to help so much,
I understand.
But one thing that I would do is it's easy to get overwhelmed. There's so much to do that you want to do. You have a great thing that you want to get out there as well. But I would just set realistic goals. So I would say within the next week, you need to set up, like have a vendor booth that you have put either money down or something like that, right? And then maybe in the next 2 weeks, you need to have a 10 bid, an opportunity like that. Within the next month, and start setting out these different things, because then you can get overwhelmed trying to do too much, like Brian's saying. But you also want to be getting some feedback. You want to be making some money. And so I really do think that you should be making 10 or 15 a day, it doesn't matter, and selling them any way that you can, on Facebook, on Instagram, something. You need to get other people's feedback, and you need to get a price point. That's a huge deal. You got to know what people are willing to pay, and then you got to be able to get the biggest way that you're going to get more customers is having a current customer tell other customers, few potential customers. And so that's where you need to have a business page on Facebook and Instagram, probably the two I would stick with at the moment. And, post 3 times a week. These are just certain goals that you need to have of your food, right?
Okay,
and
right.
And then again, you need, everything is a limited quantity. Even if you have 100, I'm only selling 20, and people need to think you only have 20 because you need them to buy. Make sense?
Right. Yeah, so, it makes sense. It does. Oh.
I think that's interesting. I think one of the things that spoke to me about what Beastmode was saying a second ago on the social side is, if you, of course, you kind of have to have a business webpage set up, even a basic one's okay. And then from that, you link to your social sites. But I think having a Instagram and a Facebook set up for your business is big. And then, you could have, kitchen time with Danielle, where you show preparation, you give thoughts and tips, and then you also, you let people, you can even take a few free ones to certain opening or markets or whatever, and do taste tests and get people on video trying it out and giving feedback. And people, because video sells, video really sells. So having like those live in-person one-to-one taste tests, I think, is a really good way of creating content, and then driving some of that demand.
Okay. Wow.
Are you working anywhere else? Is this your main source of income?
Oh no, I'm a licensed health insurance agent. Right now, my life's crazy with Medicare.
Okay. So that's good to know, because we could have potentially overwhelmed you with things and you don't have time to do those things. So it's good to know.
Well, it is seasonal. So when the season's over, I'll have more time to, go into this, and the season's over in about 2 weeks. But I will get started on some of these things, what I can, little at a time. I guess maybe the website first or the food first. Not sure.
Do your social media first. Your Facebook and Instagram, they will link together so that effectively you'll have one page. Do those first, and then because the web page, you can kind of funnel it in there after a little bit of time. And web page costs money. Facebook and Instagram are free. So do you have a name of your business?
Yes, well, it's Tommy's Tales, but if I don't do the tails, I'll have to do some other name or just come up with something for the wings.
Well, in general, are you kind of going for a little bit of a Creole Cajun feel? Is that kind of the taste
Yes.
profile?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
Yes,
the
it
problem
is.
with tails is we don't know. First of all, if I heard tails, I wouldn't know what that was. But if I had to guess, I would say crawfish tails. That's what I would guess if I just heard that.
Oh,
Um,
well, the logo is so simple. It's got a big lobster on it.
oh, okay. So if I
So
saw the
they kind of
logo,
tells them, yeah.
okay, that
I'm
does
I'm
tell.
sorry. I thought I had sent it. I meant to send it in the email, but to show you the logo.
Cool. Yeah, that name really locks you in.
Yeah, I know. It does. So I could come up with something else for them. I'll come up with something. I'll pray about it. He'll give me something.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, he will. So that's what I'll do. Think on that. Yeah, my mind's like all over the place now, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I would say whenever we get done, spend 5 minutes or so and just allow the Holy Spirit to give you some main bullet points, because it's really easy, whenever you're getting a lot of information to try to do all these things. And again, the goal is not to do all these things tonight. The goal is just to allow the Holy Spirit to sort them in your mind, and then just kind of stir you to which ones need to be done first. I mean, we're giving you some wisdom, but the Holy Spirit may adjust that, but yeah, don't try to do too much. You can get overwhelmed real quick.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad I've met with you guys. There's so much I've learned in just this little time. Are you guys going to have the group again next year?
I don't know.
No, you're not sure?
I'm not sure. I'm actually on a sabbatical right now.
Okay.
And this is kind of a kind of a one-off situation. The fact that we're talking to you is kind of a one-off thing. So I'm on a sabbatical because I did that group for 3 years and I got a little bit, I need a break. So I'm really not sure, but it's a good question.
Okay. All right. Well, I thank you guys so much for meeting with me. I hope it won't be the last time I talk to you. I'll try to keep you posted at least on what I'm doing.
That door, where it's going to take you, it's going to take you someplace it's never going to take me.
Right. Yeah, comparison, is a thief of joy.